Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to BESM Worlds Anime Short Shots. We try to be a relatively regular show where the three of us and sometimes a couple others basically play some BESM, the anime-based RPG system, and base it upon various anime worlds you might know about. So this week, of course, we have for you Cowboy Bebop. If you want to check out it's got the image of the series and some basic rules down below here. As usual, you want to check it out. Joining me this week are, of course, my usuals, Tiv and Wyrm. Say hi, folks.
Hi, folks.
All right, why don't we have a short introduction to your characters, and then I will establish the basics of the anime world we're using, if you're not familiar with Cowboy Bebop, and then I will establish where our characters are. So, Tiv, why don't you introduce your character a little bit?
He is Slarn. He is not very big. He's very scrawny. He's about 5'8". He only weighs like 120 pounds. He's frail as hell. And he pretty much grew up doing a life of crime, and because of his size, he was definitely more on the stealthy kind of side of it, stealing, those kind of things. And after a couple jobs where one arm got cut off and the other one where he had his tongue burnt with a hot rod so he can't taste anything, he decided, maybe bounty hunting might work. Yeah.
Safer profession. Wyrm, how about your character?
My character is Haley Pliskin. He was a cop who eventually underwent a secret kind of enhancement procedure, I guess, to basically become more of a super soldier type person. But he and then he was used by the higher ups for what he thought was taking out high ranking criminals, but he eventually found out they were using it for their own corrupt means, to either take out competition for whatever they were doing or etc. And when he found this out, he decided to leave the police force and go to bounty hunting, where he felt he could do more good.
Yep, cool. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Cowboy Bebop world, it's a series set in the future, after which a explosion around Earth, an accident with a hyperspace gate, which allows travel between various places in the solar system, around 2071, I believe, 2070, something like that. I can quickly check that as I'm talking. But it blew up around Earth, and Earth is mostly uninhabitable. So humanity is basically colonizing the places across the solar system. So the problem with this is a lot of fracturedness. There's a lot of crime everywhere. Its lawlessness has gone about the world, and the police force, especially the police force, the centralized one of the system, can't keep up with it. So bounty hunters, also known as cowboys, are contracted to basically chase down criminals, bring them back alive, sometimes dead, most of the time alive, and get a bounty for them. So that is where we get into our main protagonist of what we have today, which is our two characters here, Slarn and Haley, who are a pair of bounty hunters now aboard the Gillespie, a older vessel. It does a decent job of keeping them going. Probably, needs a little bit of maintenance here and there. Nothing serious at this point in time, as our characters are basically sitting around on some travels in between various systems. They were currently heading for the asteroid belt, where there's a number of colonies in amongst them. As the two of you are kind of relaxing on a normal sort of afternoon, currently not any job in particular, the local bounty hunting sort of show comes on, which is Punch and Judy, which basically, if you are any kind of bounty hunter out there, you're probably checking up because they'll tell you the best bounties which are out there. So their little jingle comes on. It pops on the screen. Punch is a kind of dark-skinned man who's kind of the host in a cowboy outfit. Judy is a, blonde woman with very, low-cut shirt, so it shows off her cleavage kind of thing, Definitely an interesting pair. They start talking about a particular bad hombre, Jonathan Cho, who has currently been upped in the bounty that's available for him. The amount that they're looking for has, in fact, tripled since they last talked to him. He was known for his criminal activities in the Mars area, but he's now escaped from Mars after robbing the first bank of Mars, murdering 3 police officers and a government official in his escape. Last seen heading to the asteroid belt area, where he is known to be a known associate of the Burning Sun gang. Those of you cowboys out there, you looking for a big score, this might be it for you, but be warned, this man is dangerous. So be ready for a fight. He is, of course, wanted alive if possible, but if you bring him back dead, probably no one's gonna bat an eye at this one. Well, everybody, and they'll go through a couple other bounties of some people, that have changed around, added to the list kind of thing, updates, but no one that seems quite as high target. Afterwards, the show will stop, leaving you two kind of like too quiet to enjoying the kind of interstellar TV, whatever show's on next. Probably some kind of strange, futuristic, space-based soap opera.
Turn the TV off.
Well,
only one though stuck out to me. It's like we didn't get any details on any others.
Almost as if.
It's almost as if you've been shoved in a direction.
Oh no, I think we should go after that second guy. He seemed a lot more interesting. Sorry.
The guy who's known for kicking puppies. No, I don't.
Yeah. See, I was gonna do the deep grappling voice, but now I feel like I should not. Anyway. Because you did.
Yeah, go for it. My guy just woke up. He has morning voice.
Well, I don't know. Seems like a pretty good. Payout. Maybe we could finally get you that arm. I say with a smirk. I probably say that like every time we talk about getting a bounty.
If you keep saying that, eventually I'm going to buy an arm with your share.
Shrug.
Well, seems like we don't have a choice then.
Probably we'll say it was 70 million wulongs, which is the money value there.
Which is, I think, supposed to be similar to yen?
Yeah, so it's a lot like yen in value.
Because
so it's,
it's an anime, and Japan always makes their currency similar to yen.
Yes. So it is about one wulong is about 1 cent US. So yes, it sounds like about more like $700,000. So you could probably buy a couple houses or get some really good maintenance on the ship, and or buy him an arm. Yeah. So this is definitely the kind of payout that would be nice.
It is actually close to 700,000, roughly 662, but
Yeah.
Still worth it.
Much better bounties than anyone else on the board. All right. So you did hear some clues. You do know that he is associated with the Burning Sun gang, and you are technically in the area that he's heading to. Where exactly? That's, well, might require some finagling. What are you guys doing? Or to hunt down your bounty?
Are we currently, I guess, over Mars?
Probably en route.
Okay.
You probably are already out of the hypergate. You're just, not in particularly heading towards, a particular asteroid right now. We're kind of just milling about after heading through there. Probably going to stop at one of the larger colonies in the area, just to like refuel, get some materials, then before heading towards the outer systems for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, so he robbed a bank on Mars. He's part of the Wulong gang. Is that on Mars as well?
The Burning Sun gang. He's associated with
gang.
them. Yeah.
Wulong is the currency.
Yeah. No. Well, let's see here. That'd be like street knowledge, I think.
I don't have street knowledge specifically.
Street smarts?
Street smarts. Yes. That is. Let me check at the skills. I think that is indeed one.
Or sense. There we go.
Street sense might be it. Let me take a look here. Knowledge of street activity. So yeah, I'd give you criminal activity. You might know about that. Or if you want to do police sciences, you might know a little bit about them too. I'll just use those two as like you can use them for knowledges a little bit. I'll throw up rolls for now. If you guys want to roll that and check your stuff.
So yes to street sense.
Yes, street sense,
Right.
or police science. You both would be useful in this case.
Oh,
And I have a specialization in criminal.
Okay.
So it gets an extra one, I think.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
it has been.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have street sense.
Well, I was saying you could
But
use police science if you wanted to.
Oh, I could use police science. Okay, so just add one to that, I guess.
Well, that's your roll. Just add your... Is your police science only one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a 14,
I
you
have-
got a 17. Okay. You have... both of you have heard of definitely...
Oh, I was gonna rebalance this a little bit, but oh well.
So, Wyrm, your information is that the Burning Sun Gang is stationed outside of the asteroid belt. They are in a number of the colonies in the area spread out. They are one of the top rising gangs in this area. You don't know a whole lot about their main areas. Tiv, you know a little bit more. With using that information, you're fairly certain out of the asteroid called Tijuana, the Tijuana colony on the asteroid, yes, named after the Mexican city, is actually the place where more likely they will have many of their higher ups.
Oh, I'm sorry. My police is 3.
Okay, so you would have about the same then too.
Yeah.
You're figuring that's probably where their centralized power source, and if he's going to his
Just looking
connections,
at the cost, not the.
if he's going to his connections with the Burning Sun Gang, that would be where he would have to go to where they're more likely, in order to meet with some officials of the gang. You got a sense already that probably it is better to quickly go there, as if you can get him before he makes any kind of deal with the gang, that might be a little easier of a time. So, you have an idea of where to go then. You could easily set course. It'll be about a day travel from where you're on, because you're not, in the hypergate now, where you're just, flying the ship through space at this point in time. So, it isn't particularly far overall. It wasn't the asteroid you were heading for, but it's not far from there. So you can arrive, you can get to the space dock and head into the colony if you want. This is a relatively lawless area, as most of the asteroid belt is, with very little sign of the ISSP, the Inner Solar System Police. This place in particular is known for being very... like a cultural mixing pot is the best way you can describe it. There's like a lot of languages going around. You see signs of things like, you'll see something that looks very like Chinese next to something that's very, like Hispanic, next to like some kind of building that looks like it's got some like Russian words on it, So it's definitely because, everybody's scattered, but this is like, everybody's scattered, and this is a very good sign of that kind of melting pot of also seediness. The place is dirty. It's not great. but you find yourself, in quotation, at home. Anyway, what are you folks going to do now that you've arrived? The colony is in a biodome. It's not particularly large. As I said, it's got a lot of signs and things in various different languages, so you can find some English, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Russian, etc. A couple more languages. Tiv, from your knowledge, from your check before, your street sense, you do know that a lot of the Burning Sun gang likes to hang out in, if they're on more of their off time, they usually like to hang out in the Laughing Bull, which is a section of the colony that's also would refer to as seedier. It's the closest thing the city has probably to a red light district.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. It's not quite that, obvious because the place isn't that big. It is a small colony. It's got a little bit of grassland outside the main settlement in the dome, but it's also kind of got, arid, desert-like, so it does feel very, like you're in a melting pot town in a Mexican desert kind of thing, with a little bit of grassland. Oh, yeah. Definitely has the Western feel.
We should probably get moving quickly. He's not going to want to hang around for long.
Yeah, we need to hone in on his location fast.
All right.
Got any informants in this area?
Unfortunately, to become a bounty hunter without people coming after me, I had to turn in most of the people I knew.
Unfortunate. I mean, I could see if some cops have some news on anything, movements, but they probably wouldn't have much, and if they did, probably would have heard about it on the, what was the show called again?
Punch and Judy show.
On Punch and Judy.
Mm-hmm.
I know where they like to hang out.
Maybe we could ask around there then, although that still wouldn't probably be the best idea.
Well, let's go check it out, and make sure your chastity belt's extra tight today.
All right, you will, of course, have kind of moved through the streets. It definitely has, like a broken down feel of, a stuffy, if you think of, third world city, almost, except, so it's, small streets, you've got, your build-up buildings. It's not it's an interesting juxtaposition of definitely that Wild West / slummy feel. But you'll move your way definitely into the section of the area where there'll be a number of places that are, well, let's see here, seedier than others. Basically will come up to this one place that you know of is the, Laughing Bull. It's this kind of, bar, as best to say, on the front. There's like a bunch of seedy looking guys out front of it. You can see, you can hear some, kind of music going on inside there, some kind of, a kind of mixture of, somewhere in between soft jazz, blues kind of thing, kind of coming from something. You can see, it's got that haze of smoke coming out of it a little bit. It's very dirty bar.
Okay.
There's a couple of people kind of eyeing you guys up as you're approaching, but none of them seem to be talking to you. I
pay them no mind as I walk in.
is there a special like tattoo or insignia that all the burning or what
Burning
was it, Burning Sun?
The Burning
people
Sun.
have?
Yes. Yes, they would. Located like at the back of their necks and kind of like a little bit on the bottom of their throats, like kind of behind their shirt level, is a like sun-like tattoo on the tops of their backs. So if like they wanted to like, you know, if they needed to reveal anything, they'd pull down the like the scruffs of their shirts to like reveal it to each other. You know, that like, yes, hey, I'm a gang member too. They are technically, they seem a little more low key, though their operations are a little high key, so to say. You know, it's like people notice their operations, but they try to like, you know, hide their identities a little better. So
I do kind of look at you. This is kind of more your territory.
Uh-huh.
I've been told I give off the cop vibe. I whisper to you.
So, Dirty Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Is there actually like a bar with bar stools?
Oh, sure. There's like a small area. It's got some tables, a bunch of people smoking at it, like a couple groups of people playing cards. Like an actual bar area that looks to only take up like maybe a third of the actual building. You can see that there's like a set of stairs going upstairs, where there's a couple of guys kind of hanging out front of it. There is this kind of like red curtain next to the bar, and there's a woman kind of behind the bar, you know, messing with some glasses, you know, who seems to be both tending the bar and watching the curtain.
Huh. Alright, so yeah, I just walk in, sit at the bar, hold up 2 fingers for like, you know, a couple drinks.
Mm-hmm. She pours you a couple shots of what looks to be like tequila.
Slide one over,
Mm-hmm.
wait for him to sit down.
I do.
Mm-hmm. She gets back to like, you know, like cleaning up and maintaining things, you know, doesn't really say anything.
So we know what the guy looks like, right?
They did show a picture of him up on it. As long as he's not in any kind of disguise or anything. There's probably not a doctor that can give any kind of facial surgery to change his image in this area, so you're probably fine on that one. And it probably hasn't been enough time since he left Mars anyway, since the incident. So, at most, it might be disguise. But yes, you know how he looks, General.
Yeah. So,
I'm basically keeping an eye peeled just to see if he coincidentally walks in.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
yeah,
fine.
I take a quick drink, put it back down, and when the bartender comes back around, just kind of nonchalantly ask her if there's a problem behind the curtain.
She'll kind of give a smile. Oh, no problem. Just if you need some time, let me know. Tequila is one of our top sellers.
It was
Also,
damn
my
good.
character is kind of more nursing it. He's not just, he's not going to just take it as a shot.
Nursing a shot.
She pulls out a bottle, puts it down. But also, we do have vodka, sake, and a few others, if you're interested. Take your flavor, and we can share a good time around back.
One arm's only half the fun. Should talk to him if you want that. I gotta save up for a new one after all.
You don't know what you're missing. I can teach you things that you didn't need any arms for. But understandable, big boy. Just in here for a drink today. Well, as she pours another like glass of the tequila, kind of pushes it forward. On me, then.
I laughed to myself. You can see me, right? There's no way you should ever call me big boy.
I always find that gentlemen like yourself are big in other ways.
Huh.
I think a character would actually do that.
I did.
You're so lucky I don't kill people for fun anymore.
I'd like to see you try.
She'll kind of give like a kissy face and go, "I'll leave you two lovers spat to yourselves." As she goes back to work.
My character does have sort of a jokey grin on his face, as if I'm just kind of poking you to antagonize you.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna wake up with a knife in your leg one of these days.
Be the first time I say I take another sip of wine.
I guess I just kind of like start tuning out his smart ass comments and listening around for pretty much anything about him.
All right. It looks as if like the two sets of card games seem to be playing, like one's doing poker, the other's doing like looks like be blackjack. They seem to have a kind of mixed group kind of thing. It seems like you get the feeling just from observing them for a little bit, they're like inner gang matches. From what you knew generally in this area, just because the Burning Sun gang is one of the more dominant gangs in the area, it doesn't mean there's other ones. It doesn't mean that maybe you're basically sitting in on a jying for position kind of thing. They're basically playing poker to kind of keep from murdering each other at the moment. You do get the feeling there is a level of tension to everything about that, but they are managing to maintain a relative civil thing. You get the your knowledge of the Burning Sun is like, you rolled pretty well at knowing about them. You knew that they are traditionally a actual both Korean and Mexican group of original nationality, you know, kind of like for if you would think of like those two gangs combined for a style of gang.
Alright.
So like kind of like drug cartel meets, you know, like Asian mafia kind of thing.
Hey, Haley.
Yeah?
You should go play some poker. Just don't win too much. Well,
Okay.
you can win a lot, just wait till later.
Very well. I assume you have an idea, I say as I get up and start to walk over.
Don't always.
Usually.
All right.
In my mind, this will just be funny. I have no plan for this. Go play with gangsters. We'll see how you do.
All right. So you're heading over to play with the gangsters. Some nice dice rolls. So what are you gonna do? You're asking him to get in the game?
Yeah. Mind if I cut in?
They're all gonna kind of give you a look for a moment. Like they kind of like look at each other. They'll kind of smirk a little bit, and then kind of like one of them will be like, "Pull up a seat."
I do.
1,000 wulong down. If you want to ante in.
I in my pocket and throw a couple throw it onto the table.
It's like $10.
It's like
Fine,
$10, yeah. They'll start dealing a handout. All right. Why don't you roll me? Let me see what the gaming skill would be. Gaming. There is an actual gaming skill.
I do not have it, and I'm guessing it's soul.
Mind or soul?
Okay, I guess I'll go mind.
Okay. You're gonna try to be smart about this. That sounds good.
I may have sent him
Ooh.
over there to pretty much watch him lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way he's even going to be dealt a fair hand.
All right. We have a roll of 9 from you. I'm just gonna roll some dice here. Okay. That's a 9 that includes your bonus. It looks like. I'm guessing.
I don't have gaming, so.
Yeah. So, you do pretty all right. It looks like none of them got a particular great hand, but you still lose. It's
Okay.
not like a spectacular like loss. It's sort of like, it ends up being like you get a pair of 6s is the best thing you get, and one of them gets a pair of 10s.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you actually did a decent job for the first round. As they continue to play, how much money are you willing to put in here? It's like $10 at a time.
I'm willing to probably go down 100 just to kind of get in with them. Probably start doing some small talk as well.
Why don't you roll me like 2 more checks, just in general, and I'll roll 2 more checks on my end after you're done. Okay? Okay. All right. All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right. You're gaming for a while. You're beating others, but you're not like ever winning. You've gotten a couple of times where you've gotten close to the end of throwing things in, and maybe about after, I guess, like if you're sticking to this like an hour of playing, you have lost 100, and you seemingly at least not like been trounced by them. They seem to have taken a shine to you, at least in a degree. The looks of like, probably should we kill him, have turned to, we'd only like maul you.
Yeah.
Only leave you in the back alley tub without the kidney at this point in time.
Yeah.
You'll live.
And so these people are part of the gang, right?
Gang. A gang.
Okay. Oh, a gang, so I don't necessarily know which gang. Okay, so
Yeah.
I probably will bring up what was the guy's name?
Jonathan Cho.
Oh no.
Let's see.
How is Mr. Cop going to bring up a fugitive to a bunch of criminals?
This will
So
be
you hear about
interesting.
that Cho guy?
I mean, like, the demeanor changes a little bit when you're asking about someone. I'll say, like, the majority of them just don't, like, a couple of them have, like, a look of, like, probably recognition. A couple of them have a look of, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to be like, how much he worth anyway? That's probably not the best way. Let me think.
One of them will mention, like, they do say he got away with a couple million wulong from the bank. I guess an enterprising man could acquire it from an outlaw without much trouble. And there's like the looks change, like this like shady looks in between each other now. So it's more than just, like before it was kind of like, shady looks at you a little bit more. Now it's more like, there's a big score coming into town. And maybe, just maybe, there's some gangs looking out to increase their standing.
Okay. Did he do what he did for his gang or against his gang?
There'll be kind of a snicker. That man is no gang member. Who would be crazy enough to steal 100 million wulong and murder a whole bunch of cops?
Well, good to know I won't be stepping on anyone's toes then if I take him down. Say with a smirk. It's like throwing another, kind of throwing another ante or whatever.
They definitely have this like look towards you that you kind of get the sense that there's like very easily get the sense of like, they're all planning best ways to shoot you in the face kind of thing at this point in time, but none of them are taking the initiative.
I know. It's kind of more like, I'm trying to come off more as a bounty hunter, than a cop. It's more my demeanor which shows that I'm a little bit more strict and rigid.
Bounty hunters are still, shot a lot.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they not? Are they not liked?
Probably not by criminals, per se.
You're talking to a bunch of criminals saying, "Hey, I take down a criminal." That good.
I mean, they probably have slightly more respect for you than the cops, but it's more like, it's definitely more like, yes, they got a feeling that you're definitely, whether or not you're corrupt or not, they still just don't like.
Yeah. I'm not here to make any friends. I'm here to get information. So, whatever.
I go walking over, put my hand on one of the gangster shoulders. You all seem like you're about to shoot the bounty hunter in the face. He's a friend of mine. I was showing him bar. He's an idiot. Please ignore him.
They'll kind of like eye you up a little bit. You definitely have a very different look than him anyway.
Just curious is all I say looking at you.
Tell your friend then.
Always worth
if
asking.
He wants to do business in this town, you should talk to Manny. Especially if he's going to get into some trouble that might cause friction.
Where can we find Manny?
Amanda will know. Go talk to her. As like one of them kind of spit towards your like spit down towards you, and then like pull over the last of the money you had bet, and like take your hand away too.
No, I was actually about to say I set down my hand and just say keep the money. I'll walk away.
Okay. They seem to indicate that the bar hostess that you talked to earlier was Amanda. So, what you guys... I guess you're heading over to her then, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. She's still cleaning. She's kind of looks like she's been observing what's going on. And then she's going to kind of go to you.
I kind of look at you and go...
I'm surprised your friend didn't get himself killed.
I will turn to you and go... or, at this point, I'll say, yeah, this is why you're the one who usually does the talking. Why'd you send me over there again?
50-50, we got what we needed. If I stepped in, 50-50, everyone dies.
Fair.
Besides, I had your back, and out of my wrist pops a dagger.
I nod at that.
Yes, I have the Assassin's Creed hidden blade.
That's fun.
So you gentlemen want a drink before you head on your way?
We were told to ask you about seeing Manny.
Oh. Your friend has some business with Manny. High roller, isn't he? Alright, alright. I can let you know where to find him.
If my friend doesn't want to get shot, then yes.
Indeed. Manny's kind of a special man around here. Used to be in the Burning Sun gang. Heard he used to lead it. Retired some time ago. All the gangs have respect for him. Kind of acts as a go-between. Keeps things in peace. At least around here.
Very well. Where might we find him?
Oh, yeah. He's not far. If you wait a little while, he'll be, getting done, with sake in a little bit and heading out. I can arrange for him to, meet you upstairs.
look at you, kind of like, what do you think?
So that's what the curtain glance was about. I'm fine with meeting him upstairs.
She'll kind of like gesture to the two guys watching it as they sort of acknowledge that you guys are heading upstairs. One of them will escort you to what looks to be a small kind of private room. There appears to be a number of private rooms on the second floor. You're not sure what's on the third floor. They don't take you up that far. Each of them kind of has like a kind of round table. I would say kind of like beat up, kind of those couch seats around it, you know? So it's like round table, but rather than like, you know, individual chairs, it's like kind of like cushioned seats, you know, kind of things. Kind of beat up. Probably each one of them can hold 3. Got like 4 of them arranged around the table. There's some curtains which are definitely drawn. So you could have an open window if you really want to, but I doubt, you know, a lot of people open the windows in here ever. The guy kind of will like let you inside and say, "Wait here," and he'll leave.
Well, he closes the door, right?
Yeah.
Immediately check to see if the window actually opens.
It does. You can get the open window.
I'm going to sit or stand by the window.
Okay. You can kind of get a view outside. It doesn't look like there's any more business than usual yet, but hard to say overall.
Are there curtains?
There are curtains. Most of the time, the window is just closed, and like the curtains are kind of like you had to like untie the curtains and like really like get them up. It looks like it's made that like there is a window, but it's like opened rarely, or even like the curtains are drawn rarely. There's just like a light on in here in a dark kind of like cave-like room.
So yeah, window open, but the curtains are closed, and I'm just standing next to it.
All right. It's about an hour that you kind of have to wait around, and soon you'll kind of hear some noise out. You hear noise occasionally upstairs and downstairs as if people seemingly are coming and going by your room. None of them seem to stop by. This time, though, you hear some noise of someone, it sounds like, coming up the door, and it sounds as if they stop at your door. As soon as, like, you hear the stopping, the door kind of bursts open, and 2 guys with guns kind of just train them on you, but don't shoot. They just stop right there.
I sit there unfazed, kind of just, like, unfazed, staring at them.
You'll kind of see this very, like, older man kind of hunched over, kind of got, like, a long, pointed beard. He looks like he's probably, like, Hispanic in, like, tone and facial features and kind of thing. Kind of wearing this kind of nice suit. Looks like he's just kind of, like, fixing it up a little bit. It's like, "So I hear you're here to talk to me. What business do you have in my section of town?"
Johnny Joe robbed the bank recently. Go ahead, you're saying?
He was like flicking his like sword as like someone like kind of like runs out and like they're like seemingly coming back with a drink. I'm aware of what goes on in the system, especially big news. Everyone around here is always aware of big news.
Then I'm sure you know that he's on his way here, and with the bank robbery, he's gonna have some cash on him.
So, what is it you want? The cash? Johnny and the cash? Does he done something to wrong you in the past?
We'll take him and leave the money for all of you.
Oh, I see what you're saying here. You want to make a deal. The law wants to make or the closest thing to it in this section of town, wants to make a deal with man like myself.
I kind of do give you a little bit of a sideways glance and then just kind of sigh. Because, you know, my characters, and you'd probably recognize that it's like, My character probably thinks we should return the money, but
There probably would be a percentage reward for returning the money, not as much as worth apparently he's worth with cop and government official murder, you know?
yeah. And it's like I totally get that, but I'm not gonna interrupt. But you just it's more like a sideways glance that you would recognize, you know?
Yeah. An
But,
interesting proposal. He is worth a lot to one such as yourself, which we could not collect on. Then again, there's always some honor in a friend of various organizations in this area. And I do not know if all of them would want to betray their friendship. Granted, it has been a while since good old Johnny has done a job for us, or helped us out in any way. But memories are old and long. Very long. And you boys seem interesting. How about this? You leave the money, we'll let you arrange to take good old Johnny boy when he comes into the area. But you do something for me. Nothing that will get you in trouble with the authorities. But still, a little favor for me. Good old Manny. As you can see, I have friends who protect me, but I am not in the business anymore, as they say. So, there are always things to be done to maintain order here in Tijuana. Realizing that my Spanish accent is really bad on this guy.
It's okay. He's old. That's excuse.
He's old. Excuse. Well, gentlemen, what do you say? What kind of... Are you willing to make it easy for you to accomplish your mission? Well, as easy as we can make it.
If you want to sound more Spanish, just start calling people gringos.
Well, gringo. No. No, I'm not gonna do that. That'd be terrible.
Not happening.
Not happening. Nope.
Oh, you would... Living in Southern California, you would not believe how many times I've been called a gringo. It's kind of just like, par for the course for me. I guess it's a little bit. Because I'm a white boy.
Mm-hmm. Well, gentlemen, do we have a accord, an agreement?
What do we got to do?
I like your tone. All right. It'll probably be a few days before your friend Johnny comes into town, from what I have heard. Little difficult traveling here inconspicuously. There are some gentlemen who have been causing some problems in town for everyone. Perhaps if they were to either end up taken care of in some way, whether this is in the laps of the authorities or in their morgue, would both work for me.
Trying to give you a look about. So he's asking if we do some work for him. He'll give us information, or
there's basically like, I would call them rowdy folks in town that he's saying that, like, for whatever reason, he can't take care of them. But if they would end up in the authorities or dead, he'd be happy.
And kind of give you a glance of like, sure.
You see, these gentlemen, well, they do some very terrible things around town. Terrible for even sometimes our standards. Not always, but sometimes. But they have connections in high places. If someone were to apprehend them while they were doing something bad and take them to the authorities, they could not argue with taking care of them. Or if they happen to have been dispatched in a way that the authorities would never find them again, I'd be fine with that too. up to you how you want to handle it. But if you take care of these two gentlemen for you, I will ensure that no one in town will interfere with your job. Just leave behind everything that good old Johnny boy has with him, and we'll take care of the rest in finding out where he has things. Especially if you drop him off with the authorities here. They will ensure that you get paid, and that news of his capture will go in. But if he happens to have hidden the money, we have friends who will find out where it is.
Works for me. And if, say, he has the money with him, and we do capture him quite quickly, we'll take him to Mars and say that he managed to hide it.
Agreeable. I'm assuming you have a fine ship which you can transport Johnny boy back there.
I nod at that.
Alright. Well, are you ready for your job?
Ready as ever.
I'll need you to take care of two gentlemen, Lynn and Vlad. The two of them have been inseparable, but they are also seemingly bad influences on each other. Lynn is the grandson of the person currently in charge of Tijuana here, at least on the official side, I will say. And so he's been turning an eye on him and his good friend Vlad's business. Vlad being also the son of the current police chief of this place. Isn't that wonderful? The two of them, well, do some very terrible things. Sometimes people end up missing because of them. Other times, people show up, but not in a state that you'd want to find them. The authorities, of course, will not say anything about this. They have such powerful family. And if we were to act directly, well, we would get the ire of those in charge. We have an understanding as it is now. Of course, if outsiders will to take care of them, having seen them doing some terrible things. You don't have much time now, though. Gentlemen, I'm afraid that our good friends, Vlad and Lynn, have taken a woman. Probably taking her to their little hideout now. Oh, we've known about it for some time. As I said, we can't act on it. But it's good to keep an eye on the dangerous elements of the town. You might be able to find the person alive if you wish to. Or if not...
You've noticed at the news of like, oh, this is like, you know, a policeman's son, they're doing bad things, but they're protected, blah, blah, blah. You'd notice my character kind of perk up and be like listening a little bit more intently, kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm. You might even be able to find their latest catch alive, if you're lucky.
Where is this location?
As a drink's kind of being brought to him finally from his like thing, he'll like kind of flick his fingers again, and one of the other guards will kind of like bring him over like some information, which he'll give to you. Give you some like images and a kind of like location in town, which seems to be the other side of town.
Well, it's lovely meeting you, Senor Manny. And holding on to the files with the information, I just kind of like fall backwards out the window.
I like your friend. It is hard to find a man with flair nowadays.
Are you just gonna awkwardly walk out of the room now?
No, I'm just gonna be like, yeah. I say, and I'll walk over to the window. I should probably follow after him. As I kind of...
It's like, it's still like awkward. It's like, I should probably awesome.
Yeah, and it's like I don't do like the Fallout thing that he does. I just start climbing down.
He's like, I'm just gonna.
Bye.
Yeah.
Out the window. All right. So you guys are back out into the streets now with some information and a question side quest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the location of this place.
Mm-hmm. All right. You'll be able to quickly like head through town. Again, like, you know, you've got maps and stuff of information that you can use to reference where it is and easily find that you're in a more industrial part of town. Probably like a bunch of like some working factory buildings, a couple old abandoned ones, and it seems to be leading you to an old abandoned kind of warehouse.
Yeah.
Probably bringing in shipping from the spaceport down below. Because like the spaceport's more in the, you know, heart of the asteroid kind of thing, and this was, you know, dome on the surface you've been kind of hanging out in.
And along the way, I'm going to see if I can't, like, do an internet search to kind of try and find see if I can't find, you know, documented blueprints of the place, you know, kind of like when it was built and stuff.
Yes.
It might be on file.
Yes. It's not going to... Describing it as an internet search describes it very differently than what it probably is, because we're also taking a combination of 1990s idea of futuristic and 2070s, and also like semi-apocalypse. So you search on the vaguely online version of what things are, you know.
There's kind of like a database thing though.
There's like a data net kind of thing. Yeah. Like
I thought there was, if I remember from the show. So that's why I was like.
Yeah, so you should be able
I know
to
it's not like a straight up... I know, that's why I didn't say Google search, because I'm like, probably don't have Google.
It's not as efficient either, I think, anymore, because it is like a rebuilt apocalyptic kind of setting, too, so everything's just a little, like, dirty, kind of broken apart, too.
Yeah. But there's probably still, you know, dumb laws about having to register blueprints with government, you know?
Yeah. It just looks like a straight-up warehouse. You don't see any kind of signs, at least on the blueprint side that's been officially put out, of what things are. If there's other parts... Yes, so you have a general idea of how the building is. There seems to be like a kind of office, work area, the main floor, where all the stuff is stored.
And I'm more thinking like entrances and exits. And...
there seems to be like... probably one small door entrance, two large hangar door entrances. This building seems to have definitely been like in disuse. If there's anything stored in here, it's either for long-term storage or it was just sort of forgotten kind of things and never used.
Yeah, and I assume to an extent it's probably not going to be completely accurate because while an initial blueprint may be registered, changes tend not to be.
Exactly. So, you'll arrive at the warehouse quite efficiently then.
That's why I'm more looking for entrances and exits, because it's just kind of like other places that people might use to escape or something, because it's just like...
Again, on the map, for what you can see, it just appears to be those three entrances, the two big doors and the small, like, into the office area door. When you arrive, you can see that, like, you can only see one of the big doors because the other one's on the other side of the building. Like, there's big open doors on each side of the building. The small sort of door seems to be kind of closed off to the office area. The big doors are actually, they're slightly ajar, but they're just, like, enough that it would still be relatively difficult to squeeze through, but someone might be able to. It just doesn't seem something that someone would regularly do anyway. Other than that, everything looks closed up.
Okay. My character would probably know this, but like, how stealthy is your character?
Decently.
Okay. Mine is probably more so. Yeah. Okay. I was just kind of curious. Well, what are you thinking? got probably scope out the place for a little while, see if they wait for them to enter, follow in after them, wait for them to leave, scope out the place while they're gone.
Well, considering what Manny told us, if we wait for someone to enter, they already have done their business. If we wait for someone to leave, they've already done their business.
Well,
If you remember, they already caught someone.
yes, I know, but I don't know. That's why I'm... Anyway, you don't necessarily... How long ago did they say they caught him? Like a day or two, didn't they?
The person?
Yeah.
They just said just caught them.
Oh, just. Okay, never mind then.
Mm-hmm.
I misunderstood. I'm like, well, if they've been here for a couple days already, I'd imagine they'd have to leave to get food and stuff at least, you know? But,
He basically said, you probably don't have a lot of time before, well, they finished their
Okay.
business.
I misunderstood that then. I thought,
Yes.
like...
He was implying that they most likely have already been, they might already be here getting to work on whatever they are doing here.
Okay. I don't know why I was under the impression that it was like a day or two. And it's like, well, they may or may not be dead. You might as well see, you know? So I wasn't like...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But no, it's like, you may have time to actually save them because it's actually pretty recent. Okay, different mindset then. So, enter from, what are, does this place have 2 floors or just 1 floor?
It just looks like 1 floor. It's tall enough that it could be like scaffolding into like a 2nd floor area, but other than that. Mm-hmm.
Want to try and, enter in through a window? Preferably.
Mm-hmm.
You know, exiting through windows is fun. Entering gets a little difficult sometimes.
Very well. You want to just walk in through the front door? See what happens?
If we can. Might as well try to be quiet about it, though.
Okay, the main door is locked.
What a surprise.
I mean, it's not really a surprise at all.
I know.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always the large gates, which I said were partially ajar, or you could try to get in through here any way you want.
I was like thinking, actually that's the thing I wasn't entirely sure about with BESM, because it's like, is there a better skill? Because I put like, because technically there's also a mechanics skill. I put lockpicking under sleight of hand though. Like I put specialty in lockpicking under sleight of hand.
That is correct.
Okay.
Specialization to sleight of hand is lockpicking.
Okay, good. That's probably why I picked it then, because it was probably on the list.
Mm-hmm.
But then would I also need to have purchased an item with points, or is lockpick very simple that you wouldn't require an item to buy?
I'm assuming you probably wouldn't have. It would be an item you wouldn't have to purchase with points, because you purchase because you can have other items.
Yeah.
It's just that one that would represent a power or give you an advantage, like a weapon or something.
But
or
the skill
armor.
is more of a tool for a skill is different. Okay, cool. But I'm just not entirely familiar with this game yet.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, then there we go. Oh, that was a good roll.
Okay. Yeah.
21, technically.
You'll pick the lock. You get it open.
I just go, let me handle this. After you.
And now we do stealth rolls, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not bad. Also not bad.
All right. Let me
Same
roll
roll,
a
too.
2d6 here. Okay. I'll roll a
And-
2d6 here.
Oh no, we have different body scopes.
All right. You kind of head in successfully. The area is relatively dark. It looks like to be like an old office. Probably would kind of keep track of what comes in and out of the warehouse itself. It seems a little dusty. Unused kind of thing. Quiet, dark, with only like the light from the open door kind of coming in right now.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna pretty much be checking and making sure that there isn't anyone hiding anywhere
Okay.
to jump out at us.
I guess roll me mind perception. So I think it's just we're saying it's just a mind check before anyway, just to see what you notice.
Yeah, and I get +2 because I have heightened awareness.
Okay.
Okay, mind. 18.
All right, nice. All right, so you kind of like take a look around. It looks pretty empty, though you do actually, I'll say that you do notice some signs of what looks to people moving in through this room. At all points of time. Like, there's like a lot of dust around, but you can see areas where some of the dust has been like knocked out of the way. Nothing that would tell you like, here's a trail, but probably like people have been through here since the place shut down. There is areas of the room where you can definitely tell like, no one's over here ever.
Alright.
So it looks like people have indeed passed in through this room. But otherwise, this room is empty. Of people, at least. The kind of general walkway does seem to lead out into another one of the rooms. There seems to be, like, the worn area. And out, looks like out into the main area. Like the big open warehouse area. So people must have been in both there and in the other room.
Do I hear anyone?
No. Everything is quiet right now.
Okay.
I guess we just progress a little more, checking corners.
Where do you want to head to? There's, I said, the room that's more in the office area still, that they seem to like people have had to head into, or the main warehouse area.
Does it look like there were any drag marks leading to one or the other?
Unfortunately, no. As I said, it's been worn enough or walked enough that you can't like discern, one set of footprints, drag marks or stuff. It just looks like over here is dusty floor no one stepped on. Here is path in the dust that, people have done countless times. So if someone was drug in here, it's hard to tell where they've been exactly.
Alright, I'm gonna point over to the warehouse, and I'm gonna move towards the offices.
Okay.
I'm going to... Yeah, I'm also going to go to the... I think the offices are a good idea, because if they're probably more in the offices, whereas whoever they're keeping is probably in the warehouse.
All right.
My thought.
You'll find yourself kind of in a hallway with a couple of it looks like individuals' offices, probably for various workers, and for various other things. Like a storage room might be one of these. So there's like 3 other doors off of here, which seem to lead into the other side of the area here, of the office area. And particular one you want to enter at this point in time. There's one to your left, one to your right, and one right in front of you.
Probably listen at each door.
Yeah, I was
first.
gonna listen to the doors.
Oh,
That's my
roll
thought as well.
me mind check then.
Ba-doop, ba-doop.
Okay. Alright. Neither of you particularly hear anything at any of the doors at the moment.
Aw.
All of them seem very quiet.
Damn, I thought 15 was pretty good, too. I just kind of move out of the way for Mr. Lockpick. If I haven't even checked the lock, but...
Yeah. First,
Which one are you going to? Left, right, forward?
Let's go... Good adventurers always go left.
Good adventurers go left. Good call. Anyway, all right.
No, they don't.
So you open the door to this room, and it does seem to be a room that people have been occupying. No one seems to be here. This I best described as kind of like a bedroomish kind of area. It's got kind of sleeping areas, like a small area for like cooking some food up. Probably this is where, if they're hanging around in this place, they're staying, like resting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No one seems to be present, though. Seems like it's not the time of day that either of them would be resting, actually.
Okay.
Well, now, if you go left again, that would be the one originally in front of us.
That's true.
Yep.
Alright, so you're heading to that one. This room is best described as like a storeroom for these gentlemen. But it's not a very pleasant one. It looks as if they are keeping... Because, like, when you first open it, there is a very unpleasant smell in the room. I mean, very unpleasant. Like, rotting, decaying kind of unpleasantness. You will see a morbid collection of things. All of them seem to be, like, combinations of trophies or experiments with, doing various things. From some look like they're working on maybe practicing taxidermy. Others look like they're just, you know, dissecting things to find out how it ticks. Not just people either, which is probably a good thing. But it definitely does give you an idea of these guys.
Not just though is a bad thing.
No, not just is a good thing, because if it was all people, they would have killed a lot of people.
But that still means some of this is people.
Well, there's that, like, stuffed head of a dude up on the wall.
Soylent Green is people.
Uh-huh.
No,
yeah, there's, like, the stuffed head of a dude up on the wall instead of a deer.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yep, so, yeah,
Is there a camera? Are there cameras in Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, this is, like, just, like,
evidence?
Click. Yeah, just gonna, yeah.
I very quietly say, okay, yeah, we're killing these people.
Yeah, very well. I can agree with this.
The last room seems to be probably best as described as a tool shop of sorts. They seem to be, like, constructing and maintaining all kinds of weird tools to experiment with, or to, you know, take care of it. There does seem to be some in-process things here, and you will find a living person in here, but probably not living in a way that you would want them to be alive. Someone in basically a cage on the ground that seems to have been, like, starved and thirst to pretty much they're alive by that much.
Female?
No, this is a man. Probably someone they took maybe even months ago. Barely kept alive. It's hard to say.
My whisper.
Mm-hmm. Like, the body is like, it's like they're maintaining enough stuff in him to keep. It's just terrible. We're not going to go into details. They're doing terrible things to him. They're keeping him alive so that he just wastes away more rather than just dying. Basically, we'll say is the best way to describe it. Mm-hmm.
But basically, rush him to a hospital after we're done here. Is my thought.
Probably nothing you can do for him at this point in time.
Oh, okay, it's that. Mm-hmm.
They were probably going to be done with him very soon. Like, probably in a couple of days, if not sooner.
So there's probably no way we can really save him.
No. It's hard to say how much of him is actually left at this point in time. How much consciousness he has, how much, whatever's left of this poor man.
I walk over and stick my blade in the back of his neck, severing his spine.
There's for a second there's like a twitch, and then like what's left of his eyes sort of close because they were kind of withered away also. And like the the eyelids just sort of droop a little bit then finally, and he seems a little bit more at peace.
Very viscous, barely what you could call blood comes out.
Yeah, at this point in time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Click a little dial on my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the poison's in.
All right. So there doesn't seem to be anybody in this area, at least, right now.
With all of the tools and things, are there chemicals and all that as well?
Well, probably a whole bunch of things. Again, because it looks like they were dabbling in some taxidermy, there's probably some preservatives and stuff.
Surprisingly large amount of things are flammable.
Yeah.
Let's go find these people.
Yes, let's.
All right. I guess you'll head out towards the warehouse area, as that seems to be the last area. There are a number of large.
This is why I left the force, I say.
There's a number of large kind of crates in there, including like it looks like a big shipping kind of crate that you can see has some kind of like it's been sealed up pretty tight, though you can kind of
one
see
question real fast. Can you hear what's going on out there on my door?
I can't hear much.
Okay, good. Because it's like they're being what I feel like is loud, but sometimes the mic doesn't pick it up because it's background
there was a
noise.
little bit of like noise a little earlier, but it was brief and then it was done. So that might have been like when it was like really loud for a second. Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to make sure because I would have told them to take the conversation not in the hallway right outside my door.
It's fine. I'm not picking up anything. And I'm assuming if I can't hear anything on here, that people can't hear anything out there.
Yeah, no, I know.
They have it really loud. Anyway, so one of the crates, it looks like it's kind of like almost stacked up with a whole bunch of the other crates, has like a little bit of light shining out from it. And you actually kind of like are hearing noise, but it seems very muffled.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Yes. We are going to. Can I see? You said there's like a small hole in this
It's
box?
more there's like a crack in it, like it's like one of those big shipping crates you'd find, so it's like it definitely could hold a bunch of people and stuff in there and things. Like the doors of it seem like maybe they were like a little bit bent, so that's the only reason like you're like getting a little bit of light out of them. It's just like a little crack of light, not a lot.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna see if I can just kind of look in.
Okay. Give me a perception mind check then.
Okay.
All right, you try to like take a look in. You can't really see a lot, but I will give you that like when you're trying to like concentrate it, you're beginning to like hear some things coming out from there. It sounds like you can notice it looks as if like the inner walls of the crate are probably like padded with something to muffle noise. But you've got this little like just basically this is like a crack in the soundproofing kind of thing. Anyway. It sounds like there's like a whipping noise. You'll kind of hear some like kind of muffled voices, but you'll be kind of able to pick him up is like, are you sure we don't want to try the next tools on her? No, this is fun. I want to practice for when I go to one of the whorehouses. I hear some of those women love this kind of thing, and, well, I can't go too far with them, so might as well practice with this one. She seems to be having a good time. As you kind of hear this kind of muffled, kind of like, not good time noises from someone.
Sobbing, probably.
Yeah. Sobbing, whimpering, little bits of screams every time there's like crack of the whip.
I grab Pliskin, Haley Pliskin, and like put them behind like a couple hidden things. Walk like behind a crate where the door would swing open, those kind of places, and then walk back to the main entrance and start yelling, "Hello!"
Okay. And we will pause it here for our break because it's about halfway into our thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna ambush them. Basically, is the plan.
Yes.
You've dealt with me before. You can probably assume that one is gonna come for me, and to leave that one to me.
Okay. And then I get the other one. Got it.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break here for like 5 or so minutes, go to the bathroom, grab a drink, relax for a second. We'll be back to finish up this week's episode, so to say, where they're going to take care of these people. And they might...
This is the perfect place for my cardboard box.
There probably are a few cardboard boxes in here, yes.
Yep.
Perfect place for the cardboard box. And then hopefully they might even take care of Jonathan's show this week. We'll find out as we continue when we return. So we'll see you in a few. Bye-bye.
Bye.